Hello, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Alabama. Now, when I say Alabama, what do you think of? Do you think of sweet tea that gives you diabetes just by looking at it? Do you think of college football? Or do you possibly think of someone stealing a 200-foot radio tower and getting away scot-free? I'm actually not kidding. That really happened. As far as I'm concerned, if you stole a 200-foot radio tower and got away scot-free, you deserve a medal, or at the very least, the radio tower. Can you imagine just some dumb radio host wakes up one day sipping on his coffee and he looks up where his beautiful radio tower used to be and it's just gone? Like, a disappearing radio tower, that's more horrifying than today's subject, actually. But as scary as disappearing radio towers are, we're going to be talking about the 13 bridges of Montgomery, Alabama. Legend says that in Montgomery, Alabama, there are 13 bridges where real ne'er-do-wells, I'm talking gangsters, I'm talking rapscallions, I'm talking my mother. My mother?
Hello?
I got a random question. Did you ever drive the 13 bridges?
I think I have. I think I did when I was like a teenager.
Was that just like something teenagers did back then?
Yes. It was scary because it was just an old, if I'm not mistaken, it was just an old dirt road, probably on somebody's property somewhere. We probably could have been arrested or run into God knows what.
Love you.
All right. Love you. Bye.
You think you know someone. So apparently, if you drive through the bridges, you'll count 13 going in, but only 12 going out. Apparently that last bridge disappeared with the radio tower. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little biased to this legend because it is actually in my hometown of Montgomery, Alabama. One of the stories about these bridges is about a woman and her child driving through the 13 bridges, and she actually swerves off the road trying to avoid a dog, and both her and her child die. And legend has it that that woman and her child haunt those 13 bridges to this very day. But it actually gets kind of creepier because multiple people have stated they have either hit or seen a dog on these 13 bridges.
So we start backing the car out, and we got out for a second for whatever reason. We heard rustling, we look around, and there are these two white, jet white dogs that have come from the bushes. And they're standing, both of them, looking directly at us and growling.
Hellhounds.
Must have been. Now, these look like pit bulls, but we didn't take enough time to really notice because we were spooked anyway, and here are two dogs. What comes to mind? Two dogs protecting the devil worshippers.
Hellhounds.
So we get in the car.
They had the feet of humans.
In some cases, people say that the dog, after hitting it, springs back up to life and sprints full speed at you, only to disappear at the last second. Apparently, the only things that disappear into thin air in Montgomery, Alabama are dogs and radio towers. Apparently, the dog that these people see is the dog that caused the car crash originally. Believe it or not, I'm a dog person, even though I'm cradling a cat right now. She wouldn't stop chewing on the daggum wires, and this is the only way I could get through this video without her meowing all the time. Now, contrary to the 13 bridges going in and 12 coming out, people actually say that some people count 12 going in and 13 coming out, only for the last bridge to be enshrouded. Is enshrouded a word? Is enshrouded a word?
Yes, enshrouded is an adjective. It means covered or hidden completely, or partially by a physical or metaphorical veil or covering. This answer is from spellcheck.net and spellchecker.net.
Thank you, Siri.
No problem.
Apparently, the 13th bridge becomes enshrouded in mist. As you're crossing the final foggy bridge, apparently you will see the face of a girl who apparently died there. Legend says that she will actually try and grab you and pull you into the water. But these aren't the only creepy stories to actually happen on the 13 bridges. There's actually a book you can buy that's called Phantoms Fill the Southern Skies, and it talks about the 13 bridges. The book states, years ago, you ever notice that local legends never tell you the exact time? I guess it's not a local legend if you're like, yeah, 2 years ago, someone tried to cross the 13 bridges. That doesn't sound creepy. Anyways, years ago, a teenage boy moved to Montgomery, Alabama, and was introduced to the legend as a local test of bravery. The boy and the friend took a car to get there, and the boy was to stand on the bridge for 5 minutes. As he stood there, he slowly became overwhelmed by the presence of something he couldn't identify. When he turned to look for his friend, both he and the car were gone. The car couldn't have left on its own, as the gravel grinding under the tires is too loud to notice it leaving. The boy went off to look for the car and found that it was back on the other end of the bridge. In fact, the car had never left. It was the same bridge he had stood on previously. Somehow he had moved from one end of the road to the other without noticing it. Now, those are really the three main stories I found about the 13 bridges, and it's creepy. It's creepy. It's a local legend. I don't understand how people get excited about 13 bridges in Montgomery, Alabama, but I guess back in the 80s, there really wasn't a lot to do. And I have scoured the internet looking for records of someone dying on these bridges, and it's just there is none. Local legend it may be. It's still looked back on by the people who grew up in the 80s with fond memories because it's interesting. So what do y'all think? Do y'all have local legends in your hometown that you would like me to research? Leave it down in the comments below and you may get credit for the next video. But until then, get out of my house.